Today, we are diving into a huge topic, strategic management in the digital age. We're going to break down how businesses absolutely have to adapt to the crazy pace of technology if they want to thrive and not just survive in 2025 and beyond. So let's just start with a really direct question. Look at your business right now. Is its strategy really built for 2025? I mean, seriously think about it. The ground is shifting under our feet so fast that what worked even a year ago might already be totally obsolete.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about. Winning in this new era isn't about just buying the shiniest new software. It's about a complete cultural and strategic overhaul, a whole new way of thinking about your business, from the ground up.
Okay, so to really get this shift, we need to look at what's being called the 2025 digital imperative. And listen, these are not just a bunch of buzzwords. These are the core principles that are now deciding whether a company is going to succeed or, frankly, get left behind. First up, agility. And this one is a biggie. We're not just talking about being fast. We're talking about a deep structural ability to pivot on a dime. It's how you react when some new tech just throws a massive curveball, or when the market suddenly zigs when you thought it was going to zag. It's about building resilience right into your company's DNA.
Next, we have data-driven decision-making. This is a fundamental power shift. For decades, strategy was all about experience and gut instinct. Well, today, it's about using massive amounts of data and AI, moving from asking what happened to predicting what's going to happen, and making choices based on hard evidence, not just a hunch.
And the third pillar here is continuous learning. This is so important because it reminds us that technology is basically useless without the people who know how to use it. When a digital skill can go from essential to obsolete in a matter of months, building a culture where people are always upskilling, well, that's not a perk anymore. It's a core strategic function. So, we get the principles. But how do you actually, do it? That brings us to our next section, the new strategic playbook. Think of this as the how-to guide for making all this happen. All right, this playbook lays out a 5-step game plan. First, you gotta be scanning. Always be looking at the horizon for what's next. Second, plan and pivot. Use what you see to plan for a few possible futures, not just one. Third, decentralize. Let your teams on the ground make calls faster. Fourth, innovate. That means building partnerships and networks to speed things up. And finally, number 5, manage your risk. Because all this new tech brings new threats, so things like advanced analytics and cybersecurity are non-negotiable.
Now, a great playbook is pretty useless if you don't have the right coach on the field. Which brings us to a super crucial piece of the puzzle, leading the digital charge. A strategy is just a piece of paper without leaders who can actually make it happen.
And the difference is stark. You've got legacy leadership, which is all about top-down control, rigid departments that don't talk to each other, and honestly a lot of resistance to change. Then you have digital leadership. This is all about breaking down those walls with cross-functional teams, making it safe for people to experiment and even fail, and empowering the whole organization. It's a huge shift from being a commander to being more like a conductor. So once you have that new style of leadership in place, the next logical step is to redesign the company itself. So let's look at how you actually build a future-ready organization, one that's designed for this digital world from the inside out.
The blueprint for this kind of organization really stands on 3 pillars. First, you need flatter, more agile structures that empower small teams to just move fast. Second, you set up these digital centers of excellence, basically hubs of expertise to drive the transformation. And third, you have to build strong data governance to make sure your information is safe, it's accurate, and it's being used ethically.
Now, all of this sounds great on paper, but we all know this kind of transformation is incredibly hard. So for our last section, let's get real about the challenges and also the amazing rewards that come when you get this right. Which, of course, leads to the billion-dollar question, right? After all this work, all this money spent on new tech, new people, new ways of working, does it actually pay off? Does it hit the bottom line?
And the answer from the research is a massive, resounding yes. I mean, just look at these numbers. Datatronics saw 312% return on investment. Genex Fuels, 267%. The takeaway here is crystal clear. When you do it right, digital transformation is not a cost center. It is a huge driver of value.
But of course, getting that kind of return means you have to tackle some very real hurdles. There's often a huge gap between what the tech can do and what the organization is actually ready for.
You have to actively fight against old habits and biases that want to resist change. And on top of all that, you've got to navigate this tangled web of regulations, especially around new things like AI and data privacy.
And this really just brings it all home. This quote says it all. Those resistant to change risk obsolescence in an era defined by rapid technological evolution. The stakes could not be higher. This isn't about getting a competitive edge anymore. For a lot of companies, this is purely about survival.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. After everything we've just talked about, the imperatives, the playbook, the leadership shift, what is the one single change your organization needs to start making, like right now, to be ready for 2025?